this is another live stream, 3 days now, and yeah, I think I plan to keep this going. I don't know for how long, but trying to be as consistent as I can. And yeah, today we're going to be talking about better, like desire to make things better, like um yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about. I think it's going to be an interesting topic. Stay tuned in, and yeah. Um, First we have to check if we are live. 1 second. And then we have to share this to see if other people can see it as well. And then, yeah. Awesome, awesome. I think we're live. I would have liked to change the thumbnail, but somehow YouTube is not allowing me to edit a thumbnail. I don't know why. YouTube. A big. That's going to make a stupid joke, but I make stupid jokes, so if you're new here, you can expect that. Oh, it worked. Save this. Okay. I think going live on weekends is like the best time because like a lot of people have free time, and then you can share them and then get viewers. When you can share, your live, and then the view count increases. But my goal is not necessarily view count. My goal is to just share, like, my thought process, and then hope it can improve somebody else's, that's like my ultimate goal. Is this the chat is working? And then my other goal is to crack a few jokes. But not for like the sake of just cracking jokes. I think it just makes more sense. Like if you're going to go live, you can't just be, talking about serious topic. Like it has to be like a mixture of, hey, I'm funny, and then, hey, Landis. Awesome. And then lastly, we have to share this. I don't know. I usually I don't know why I'm talking about like the desire to make things better. I think it's like it's I usually talk about like ideas that come to me like when I know I'm going to be going live. So it's just something that came to me like, and I talk about general topics because I know it doesn't matter what you do, you are going to need to like sort of there's going to be like a time you need to improve, right? To improve things, to, yeah. One second. I like social media, but it can be daunting at times. Like, you know, that is if you take it too serious. I guess, like, um, and some of these things are things that I should really be doing ahead of starting the live. But you know, just a messy person. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good. So I've shared on WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. In this way, I have like a few people. Maybe let me just put it on Twitter as well. A lot of the times you're going to see me using general context, what I would label as general context, right? That's because, you know, if you are yapping online, what you're doing is if you are yapping online, what you're doing is you're catering for a very diverse audience, right? Like, you never know who's going to be watching and where they're going to be from. So what you do is you make your context as broad as possible. Yeah, cool. Let's talk about the desire to make better, right? It's like, well, you are trying to create something that is just an example, and that can be a recipe. It can be a book you're trying to write. It can be a house you're trying to build. It can be content you're trying to create. It can be almost anything. Like, you're trying to bring something from 0 to 1, right? So, but it can also be you found something that is already existing. Let's say it's a house that exists and you're trying to renovate it, right? So you're going to have that desire to make things better, and I think it's probably like one of the most important virtue of a creator or a builder or an entrepreneur or an employee. Like, you have to have this desire of, hey, I've found things, or I found an environment the way it was, but I aim to do some kind of improvement, right? Like, I aim to leave these circumstances better than I found them. Otherwise, you just I don't know the word, a spectator. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just enjoying the show, right? Like, you have to have that need of, okay, I found this, but I want to leave it better, slightly better, way better. Like, if you're looking for someone to work with, like, that's what you look for. Like, is this person going to make the team way better than they found it? Yeah, and this applies to everything. Everything that we do. Like, it can be like coding. It can be you've just come and you've seen a code base, and you are either going to be the person who leaves more mess, or you're going to be the person who leaves slight improvements, right? So it is really up to you. Like, it is up to you. Like, okay, just but I think it's like a good quality to have, like, but we have to differentiate that from living things better and perfectionism, right? Because perfectionism is something else. Like, perfectionism is you trying to always chase better, right? Perfectionism is you never satisfied. Perfectionism is you always want to go for better and better and better, and yeah, perfectionism is not good. But also, which it brings the question in play, like, well, if you're seeking better from people, like, are you are you also a perfectionist? Like, like, if you always, you know striving for better, like, are you a perfectionist? But what I'm trying to say here is not like, leave everything better, like, always strive to do this. But I think it will be a pity if, like, um if you found, like, if you came in the word and you left it the way you found it, right? Like, that would just be a pity. Like, it would mean that you basically contributed nothing. So, and this improves your life, because ideally the people who are rewarded immensely are the people who makes the world a better place. I know that's cliche, like, it's used a lot, but that's just the way it is. Like, you might be, well, let's take examples, right? let's take um let's take Elon Musk, right? He's come and he's built Tesla, SpaceX. He's, yeah, and the world rewards him for, for doing better, like, for creating better. Like, if you've actually made my life better, I'm using your solar panels, I'm using your car, and it's made everything better around me. So it's like that need of, hey, I'm not just going to come in and create a mess, I'm actually going to come in and improve. And that's what he aims to do when he goes to Mars, right? He's going to go there, he's going to find that it's not to his preference, and then he's going to adjust it, he's going to, improve it. And, like, that that is that is like something within you, that you want to make things better, like, you want to improve circumstances. Yeah. And then there's like, well, if I'm making things better, why do I do it for? Like, why am I doing it, right? Like, is it out of ego, you know like, do I want a pat on the back, like, hey, you've actually improved our lives? Is it driven by, is it driven by necessarily, like, is it driven by personal achievement? Like, okay, I've made things better, but I want recognition in return, I want power, right? It's or maybe I just want to make things better. Like, it just annoys me that some people can settle for mediocrity, right? Just like quality. And that is what I'm after, like quality, right? When you're striving for better, like, it comes down to, well, what does better mean to you, right? So what that means is you likely have standards, or you're setting, whether it's maybe a team, like it has standards. So it comes down to thinking, well, this is the standard, like this is the standard, and then this is where we are. What does better look like on this scale, you know? Yeah. um it is, it's you have to recognize that what's better for you is not going to be better for everyone, in which case you still have to pursue it, right? Irregardless of what anyone says, you still have to pursue it. Like, yeah. um that is also just to say, like, better is not always going to be appreciated. And sometimes people are going to tell you, hey, we would rather you keep it the way it was. We like the way it was before. That shouldn't stop you though. And it shouldn't stop you. Like, you should always aim for, okay, I'm trying to do this thing, and I think it can improve. From what I've seen, it's going to improve the existing circumstances, and then you have to pursue it rigorously. Yeah. When you going for better, it's important to cater in, like, the time, the time, like, the 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 fact of time, you know, like, well, it wouldn't that's another way of saying, like, it wouldn't be realistic if um beta was going to take forever, right? Like, if Musk is going to take us to Mars, and it's not in this lifetime, that doesn't make sense, right? Yeah. Beta has a correlation with taste, and I think I touched on that. Like, sometimes your beta is not going to be what everyone thinks is better. People like things done a certain way. People like comfort. People do not like being moved. So if you come in and you're trying to do things a different way, it's simply not going to work. Like, I'm used to sleeping, or to living in a certain way. Like, I'm used to, I live on Earth. I'm used to, my normal oxygen, and you're trying to take me to Mars. Like, that's not going to work. So it's going to be, well, I know you're trying to do better, but it has to be in correlation with my taste, which is why occasionally when you're trying to do a 360 on people's circumstances, it doesn't work. And this applies to anything. You can look at products, like, your users have habits, they have acquired experiences. So if you come and you're like, well, I want to do we should just change the whole freaking UI. That's not going to be good, right? Because I'm going to think it's a completely different product. Like the logo doesn't look the same, the icon doesn't look the same. Or even take a musician, right? Like, let's say I'm a fan of Lady Gaga. Well, Lady Gaga is not a good image. Let's say I'm a fan of Frank Ocean, right? And I know he's an R&B singer, and then one of these days he releases a song, and it's maybe funk or rock or yeah, it's like maybe it's something different. Like I would be confused. I would be like, well, that's not what I'm used to. That's not my taste. That's not what we used to as Frank Ocean fans. Like, that's completely different. So yeah. So when you're striving to make things better, you have to think of the people, like the taste. It can be way too far. It has to be a slight adjustment. Well, this is what you're used to, but if we made this adjustment, it would actually, that's why, like, if you established and have like a large audience, it makes sense to do like to not just do like a 360 flip on people. Like, you can just do like, you have to hint on it and then change a bit and change a bit and then change a bit. Doesn't really mean that you can do it. You can do it, but I think there will be consequences, and it wouldn't be easy to know, well, are these good, are these going to be good consequences or bad consequences? Like, is this something that turns my product into, yeah. So since you don't know that, it makes sense to gradually shift people's perspective. That is like, well, I have a house, the entrance, I'm used to it being in the front, and then I come and all of a sudden it's in the back. I'll give you a story, right? So there was this time I went to school. I was in boarding school, and then when I came back, my family had moved, right? They had moved, and then in boarding school I don't have a phone, and I hadn't talked to them, so they had moved. So when I came back home, I went to the previous location. Not saying where they had moved was better or worse, but saying when you change without communicating, without alerting people, without a gradual shift, it just causes confusion. Because now I'm back and I'm like, well, where did they go? Did they leave me? So beta has to be gradual. All in all, I think it's just like, it just makes sense to strive for better. And recognizing that better is not perfection, better is just a choice. It's like, well, this is what's available, this is what I think should be next, and this is why it should be next. Yep. Um, how do you measure if something is better, right? How do you judge if something is better? Like, how do you judge if something is really, like, has really improved on metrics? If I keep using product, but the reason for product is because product can mean anything, right? It can mean book, it can mean song, it can mean, yeah. So if I see X product, let's say a book, and then I'm comparing two versions, they should be different. Like, I should know, like, well, this is what was in the first edition, this is the second edition. Like, you can just change one sentence and call it a second edition. If it's a mobile app, like, you can just change the logo and call it version 3 or 4 or 5. If it's an iPhone, you can just remove one camera and call it iPhone 17, right? Like, better comes with measurement. iPhone kind of does that, as like they remove cameras and or increase cameras, say that it's better. I mean, better is not going to lie, and that is especially in terms of product. Like, yeah, you're going to know if something is better or not. Yeah, it is measured. It is measured. Like, you have to know, well, this this is an improvement from the previous version. I have to repeat one thing because I think it's very crucial. Like, it would be a pity if you came in this word and then you just left it like the same way you came in it, and you had a chance to live a life, to live, like, you know. That's why, like, it just makes sense to make things better. Like, you know, do it for you, do it for people around you. And usually when I'm talking in this context, I'm talking from, well, I'm talking to myself first. Like, you know, I'm evaluating what are the things that I should be making better, right? What are the things that I should be making better? Is it, you know, well, what are they? And from there I keep, well, for me there's quite a shit ton that I have to improve, but, you know, each day I'm going to wake up and try to get to make one more step towards better. And yeah, And then like, does it require motivation, ambition, passion to make better? I would like to think that it's a choice that one makes, like, hey, I actually am going to choose to pursue improvement, you know? And if the outcome is better conditions for myself and everyone around me, then that's good. If it's setback, then that's okay too. I've I've I would have, I would have tried. Well, I think ambition and motivation kind of helps. Like, well, you are ambitious enough to pursue better. You are motivated enough to pursue better, and you are passionate enough to pursue better. Better is like, it just like, instead of going like this, you are trying to go like this. That is the easy way to think about it, right? And then assume that at some point you're going to get somewhere. Uh, and you don't really know if that somewhere is going to be good, um, or bad. But the alternative is staying like this, right? Uh, that's not good. And then in pursuit of better, like, whether there's competition, right? Like, are you still going to be competitive? I think competition is interesting. Like, competition is both negative and positive, because competition pushes you. It's like, well, I have this person, I'm trying to beat them, so I'm going to put in more effort. But also competition destroys people's self-esteem. Like, well, if I'm going to win, this person is gotta lose, and I don't care. Like, I just have to win. I don't really, they have to, I have to win. So, well, if you pursuing better, you're already in competition with yourself. So, and most likely, like, if it's like a product you're working on, you can't assume that there's not similar in the market. And as painful as it is, sometimes for you to achieve better, you have to see competition as, you know an enabler, or competitors as enablers. Yeah. Anyway, that is everything I had to say about, you know the desire to make better. And I hope it benefited someone in some way. I'm going to do a news recap. News. Let's look at what's happening. You should already know that I'm going to be blending to tech for news. So let's see what's up in tech. Starting with TechCrunch. Starting with TechCrunch. If the news is repeating, I'm not going to be going through it. I'm just not going to. If it's like the same ish, I'm not going to go through it. Like, I just opened TechCrunch and the first thing was OpenAI asked Trump administration to expand CHIPS Act tax credits to cover data centers. I don't think this is good news. I need drama. I need hacking and suing. Is Wall Street losing faith in AI? Okay. A rough week for tech stocks might signal a loss of investor confidence in artificial intelligence. Wall Street Journal reported that the Nasdaq index was down 3%, making it worst week since President Trump announced his sweeping tariff plan in April. Okay, Palantir stock is down 11% this week. Oracle 9%. Nvidia 7%. What? Meta and Microsoft indicated they are going to. This is interesting. Oh, one thing I've noticed is that these stocks do not mean jack-ish. So if tech companies, like if stock is going down for Nvidia or Palantir, it shouldn't mean anything really. Let's see what else. AI is such a boom that it's such a bubble that you're making a show and you have to declare that it's not made with AI. I just saw something. Breaking Bad's creators has a new show, Pluribus, and he was claiming that it was made by humans, not AI. What else? I don't know. TechCrunch is boring today. But do I have any viewers? That's one thing I'm still going to. viewer, and I think it might be myself. Oh, I got someone in the chat. Hey man, what's up? To make better product, good products never lie. I think to make a better product, you need to consistently work on it to upscale. Yeah, that's true. Good products never lie to consistent. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And are you working on anything? Or do you have any questions? Yeah, I think if you're working on a product, it depends on how on like how far you want to take it or how good you want to make it. Yeah, but the higher standards, the more effort you're going to pour into that said product. Just look at The Verge. I don't see any interesting stories today. Maybe we need to step out of the tech sphere. Is the AI boom a bubble? Well, let's read this. When is a bubble a bubble? When is hype around a new technology signaling the dawn of a new industrial revolution? We assess the arguments for and against AI and its inflated valuations have surged in the last year. AI firms and their stock have surged in the last year, according for more than 80% of America's growth. But is there real demand underpinning this? That's it? Maybe this was like maybe this was like as a podcast-ish. Why tech giants are offering premium AI tools to millions of Indians for free. Starting this week, millions of Indians will get 1 year of free access to, I saw this, to ChatGPT for free. Low cost Go, ChatGPT Go. Okay. The move follows similar announcements in recent weeks from Google, Perplexity AI, who have partnered with local Indian mobile companies to give users a year or more of free access to their AI tools. Perplexity tied up with the country's second largest mobile network provider Airtel, while Google partnered with Reliance Jio, India's largest telephony giant, to bundle free or discontinued AI tools with monthly data packs. Did you know one thing that I used to think? I used to think that each country, oh, I don't know, not think, but I just had like this impression that telco companies usually have short names like MTN, like um even if it's not short names, I used to think they had to be like one word, like Safaricom, like Vodafone, like I don't know why I had that impression. And then I saw Ethiopia's biggest telco company is called Issue Telecom. So that kind of shook me. And then I just saw that this one in India is called Reliance Jio. Yes, so that kind of surprised me. I don't know why I had that impression, but yeah. Analysts say such offers should be mistaken for generosity as they are calculated investments and a long-term bet on India's digital future. The plan is to get Indians hooked on generative AI before asking them to pay for it, an analyst told the BBC. What India offers is scale and a young audience. Other big markets like China might rival India in terms of the number of users, but its tightly regulated tech environments limit foreign access. India has over 900 million internet users and offers some of the world's cheapest data. Its online population is young. Most internet users are under the age of 24, belonging to a generation that lives, works, and socializes online using smartphone. Bundling these AI tools with data packs creates a massive opportunity for tech companies, given India's data consumption outpaces much of the world. The more Indians use this platform, the more first-hand data companies can access. Oh, yeah, India is a massive market for anyone. Like, yeah, it makes sense for them to do this. Like, 900 million people, and that's not the population. That's like people using internet. That's internet penetration in India. For instance, even if it's just 5% of free users become subscribers, that's still a significant number. Yep. Let's say 10%, right? So 10% of that's like 9 million, and they pay for they pay for ChatGPT, which I think goes for $20. So that is 180 million. So yeah, so it makes them like this is a short-term loss they can afford to take on. Let's see what else. I don't know why I plan to take. I would like to read other things, like other news. We need to find better news. We need like a news a news a news outlet with only headlines. That is what we need. One sign that you're watching an AI video, not interesting. By the way, AI videos are getting so good that it's going to be very hard to tell very soon. Let's look at other news outlets. I think there's like The Independent. One thing I saw that was crazy is this video I saw recently on TikTok where like this guy was sitting in his truck and then he saw the flight that crashed in Kentucky, and it passed like right in front of him. He was like, holy shit. Holy shit. Holy ish. I don't see anything else that's interesting. I didn't find any of this interesting. AOC to run for president. Let's look at Tech Cabal. Tech Cabal. Africa doesn't have a talent problem, it has a discovery problem. Digital Maki Rosuru lived in the test and now he's building it into Bitcoin. So yeah, I think there's quite a few good ones here. But let's read this. Africa doesn't have a talent problem, it has a discovery problem. William Ngobo remembers the phone call. One of the talents ProDevs had placed with a foreign company, a developer from somewhere outside Lagos, rang him with news. It built a house in his village and he was building another in Lame. He was like, wow, no cause. Have not started building, but you're building. It's the kind of impact that might catch some founders off guard because it inverts the typical startup success story where founders cash out and employees get leftovers. Here, the mission, making invisible talent visible and creating pathways to prosperity, is working exactly as intended, even if it means the wealth gets distributed before it. This isn't the story of ProDevs 1000. Well, I think Africa doesn't spend on product. Speaking for myself and speaking for a lot of people I know, I think Africa is I think Africa is a a workforce, a workforce like it's going to be like most people are going to come here are going to come for resources and workforce. That's what I think. And if you can use the resources and the workforce to build products, I think that's going to be interesting. If you want to export the resources and the talent and the workforce, that is going to be a different outcome that I don't want to talk about. Interesting. The last story that we're going to cover is Mark left Nigeria to chase stability. Now he's building it into Bitcoin. Every digital product we use, from mobile banking to newer emerging technology like blockchain, depends on a quiet layer of work we rarely see. Servers, code runs, networks talk to each other, and everything stays alive because someone makes sure it does. A town west of London, UK, one of those people is Mark, who leads a DevOps team at building new network on top of Bitcoin. They was about keeping things stable. I don't find this interesting. I think he's talking about DevOps and Web3 and crypto. Yeah, I think I'm likely going to start curating interesting stories before I get on the call on the stream. Yeah, this is very interesting. This is not that interesting. Awesome. Today there was another hour of the apology. Don't forget to subscribe here. I think where is it? Here. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.